Hey everybody, I'm here with Barry Siff of Yolo Triathlon and 5430 Sports specifically, and we're just kind of hanging out today and getting an idea of what is going on August 17th, 2014 at the Aurora Reservoir. And I'm happy to hang out with you today, Barry. How you doing, man?
Doing fantastic. Thanks, Scott.
Awesome. So we're going to cover some basic questions. We've gone over this personally before, and I thought it would just be really neat to share this with our audience and people out there who are kind of on the fence on if they should sign up for this event or not.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, I'm just going to dive in. So 5430, you guys did some really cool events up in Boulder. Tell us about those events in the past and why you kind of got out of it and all that good stuff.
Yeah, that was the past. I mean, from like 2003, 4, all the way up until 2009, we put on these huge, awesome events at the Boulder Reservoir and elsewhere. We were in Steamboat Springs, we were in Windsor, Colorado, we were downtown Boulder with some runs, but the triathlons were really our signature events, including the Boulder Peak Triathlon and the Boulder Sprint and the long course, which is now the Ironman 70.3. We sold all those events to Ironman in 2009. But before that, the events were really cool. We always paid attention to detail, big on customer service, big on having fun, great T-shirts, amazing awards that my wife would make, Jody. And, we had skydivers come in at the beginning of every race. We had hot air balloons. We had doves being released into the air. It was a big deal. It was a lot of fun, and people loved it. And they've stayed in touch with us. We have a 5430 family, we feel. And, yeah, we sold the events, couldn't do events for about 3.5 years because of our contract with Ironman, and just waiting to get back into it. And when I heard that Jim Flint at Rattlesnake was ready to retire his race, he and I talked, and I have tremendous respect for that event. And I thought, what better combination than to, have 5430 Sports combined with Jim Flint and Rattlesnake, put on a new event with a little new branding, and came up with YOLO.
Boom, there
So
it is.
there it is. That's the deal. And, we're excited about coming back to, Colorado with an event somewhere outside of Boulder.
Yeah, absolutely. So what are you going to keep the same from the stuff that you've done in the past, and what are you going to change?
Well, the biggest thing that's the same is our care for the athlete. We get emails almost every day, not so many phone calls, but emails from people asking questions, can I do a relay team? Can I do a relay on the sprint? Can I do this? Can I do that? And I think our biggest thing is how we relate to the athlete. It really is. Lots of races. There are lots of races out there, really good races in Boulder, in Denver, in Aurora, and I have great respect for all those events. But I think what separates us is our passion for treating the athlete, really, really well, and knowing how to put on a great event. I've been doing triathlons for almost 30 years, putting them on for like 15 years, different events. And we know what athletes like, and we treat them great, and we have a really good event, great bang for the buck. We know how to do good T-shirts, and how to do good awards, good announcing. The course is always super well marked and safe, and we pay attention to the details. I don't think we're going to have all those bells and whistles this first time around. We're not going to have necessarily the skydivers and the fireworks and everything else we've done at events. We're just going to pull off a really good, safe, fun, fair event and grow it from there, I think.
Awesome, awesome. And I'm here with Barry Siff, who is in charge of 5430 Sports along with his wife, and they have taken over Aurora Reservoir for August 17th. If you guys have any questions about what's going on, you can go to yolotri.com. It's YOLOTRI.com, and you can check that out. So we're going to move on a little bit, Barry. So let's talk about the types of participants that you're going to have. Okay, so
Yeah.
you have elites, you have your entry level. So let's talk to the entry level athletes. Why is this a good event for people who've never done an event before like this?
It really, really is a great event. I think this is a much better event than ever held at Boulder for beginner triathletes. It's not intimidating. Boulder's intimidating, to begin with. But the quality of the athlete that comes to Boulder, the expensive bikes, the whole bravado that accompanies what is Boulder, I think it's going to be a little different in Aurora. And I think that the sprint triathlon in particular, with just a 500-yard swim, which will be the shortest swim we've ever had at a triathlon, I think is fantastic. I would love to do that length of a swim in the race. This whole sprint triathlon, the swim course is safe. We've got a comfort wave that will be the last wave in the water, where everybody who is just a little unsure, gets in there. You'll be much more at your own pace. People won't be swimming over you at all. and again, only 500 yards, and then or 500 meters. And then the bike course on the sprint is totally closed to traffic. So, it's not like you're worrying about cars coming by you when you're right and you're left and all this other stuff. So I think the sprint is really, really a great race for beginners. And that's really a big aim of ours, quite honestly. And based on the questions we're getting from people, like that's going to be a lot of beginners.
Yeah, that's great. And there's so many people that are nervous to take the first step. I think triathlon
Yeah.
is on a lot of people's bucket list. So it's great that you guys are putting together a safe event that people can go out and just worry about getting 1, 2, and 3 done.
Yeah, no question. And we'll have lots of support there. Lots of lifeguards and safety boots and everything else in the water. People will be able to warm up beforehand. And so, yeah, our emphasis is on, I was at a meeting 2 weeks ago with the ITU, with the International Triathlon Union people, and the president of the ITU, Marisol Casada, spoke about safety and fairness as being the two most important words in triathlon, and I've just really adopted that. I think we've always intuitively done it, but now, I'm just talking those words, safety and fairness, and that's what we'll have at our events. We'll also have USAT officials there to make sure the rules are kept, safe and fair. No drafting, having your helmet buckled, things like that.
Cool.
We'll be enforcing because safety and fairness are the two keys.
Awesome. So there it is right there, guys, from Barry Siff. If you guys are interested in your entry-level athlete, come on out to Yolo Tri. You can find us at yolotri.com, of course, like I just said. So let's go to the other end of the spectrum. We're talking about our elites. Why should they be signing up for Yolo?
Yeah, it's August 17. It depends on what their schedule is. The Ironman, the Boulder Ironman, of course, is 2 weeks earlier. So a lot of people will be doing that. Some of my training partners I know are doing the Ironman. They're not going to be ready to do the Sprint or Olympic. But other people who might be looking at a big race in September, like 70.3 Worlds or even Ironman in Kona, always good to get a good, fast, hard Olympic distance race in. And that's, I think, what YOLO Olympic is all about. It's a challenging course. You got some good hills on the bike, you got some rolling on the run, and it's always good to have a tough workout. And I think that the elite athletes, many of the elite athletes in the Denver, Boulder, Fort Collins, Colorado Springs area, the whole Front Range, know what 5430 brings to the party, and we've already gotten a great response from a lot of them. So those people who aren't doing Boulder Ironman, I think will find their way to the Oro Reservoir on August 17th.
All right, so you guys who are elites out there, you guys know that Barry and his wife put on great events. So come on out. If you guys are tapering or if you're working up to a big event, this is a great one for you guys. All right, so let's move on a little bit to the training piece. So you guys have partnered with D3 Multisport with Mike Ricci, his wife, over there, who I spoke to earlier, and they have a lot of really cool initiatives that they're pulling off. So what's that partnership work like? Why are you excited about having those guys on board?
I'm super excited. I have had the ultimate respect for Mike Ricci as a coach for many, many years. And I guess the biggest endorsement is the fact that he's coached me for several of those years. He just really knows his stuff. And like us, he's committed to the athlete. His customer service is phenomenal. He reads and learns and is very, very knowledgeable. And in fact, he was just awarded the USA Triathlon Coach of the Year recognition from the entire USA Triathlon in the United States. So he's very highly respected, and he's all about safety and fairness too. So when he's going to be helping us with our open water swims, for example, I know that if people come to those swims, they'll feel a lot more comfortable come August 17th. They'll know what they're doing. They'll know how to feel in a wetsuit, etc. And I feel very, very confident, and I'm ecstatic that Mike and the D3 Multisport joined us as a partner.
Awesome. And I will link up to the interview I did with Mike earlier today on the show notes of this. I think people will really draw a lot of information from what he's trying to do. Off of the training piece, you guys do have a transition clinic with D3 Multisport, from what I understand, and we'll link that up as well after the show. So you can go find a lot of this information at yolotri.com, like I said before.
Scott, the great thing about that is it's July 19, I believe, at the Aurora Reservoir.
Yeah.
So that people will be able to really, check out the reservoir, get a feel for not only the swim, which is the emphasis, and the transition, etc., but there'll be a run on the running trails. They'll see what the bike course looks like. So that's a great opportunity.
Awesome, awesome. So there's your training piece. There's your training partner. I think that's really interesting. So let's talk about the course and transitions a little bit. For the
Yeah,
course, just explain why it's unique and and why you really like this course. And then for transitions, you as a coach and an expert
yeah.
triathlon guy, give everybody like one or two tips for each transition. I think that's kind of fun.
Yeah, yeah. First of all, I think the course is really good. You know, I've been out there, I've done races out there. The big thing is that the roads are closed. You know, the sprint course is entirely closed to traffic. The Olympic course goes a little bit further, and while it's open to cars, there's extremely low traffic volume. So it's a really good, a little bit challenging bike course. The swim's a swim. You know, I mean, that's usually always pretty flat. You
Yeah.
know, it's a matter of how well you support it with safety, with lifeguards and boats, et cetera. But and we say, you know, we support it really well. The transition area is very close to the swim exit, so that's nice. You know, it's a really good setup at the Aurora Reservoir. I really like the Aurora Reservoir. I think it can handle, you know, I mean, I think it could handle a big time event in that area, and maybe that's what Yolo will become one day. And the run is on running trails right around the reservoir, and it's really pretty. Houses are around, and it's safe, and you know it's just rolling. So I just can't say enough about just how it's kind of a nice laid-back course, as opposed to our historic courses in Boulder, which go out on US 36 with cars going by at 65 miles an hour. I
Yeah.
mean, it's a different feel, you know. And in Boulder, you're also biking back on the diagonal,
Yep.
which again, cars are going 60, 65 miles an hour by you. Different type of race. You know, I think those are great races. But for our audience now, I think Aurora is a fantastic spot. The location also is really cool because you know you've got it right outside of Denver and right between Fort Collins, Colorado Springs, and Boulder. So hopefully we'll really draw a lot of people from the Front Range. I also want to mention the club competition, which we're just starting to really roll out, USA Triathlon Rocky Mountain Region Club Championship. So I expect clubs from, again, those major cities and others to join in. You know, we have like 30 or 40 clubs in Colorado. Love to
Yeah.
see them all come out and compete against each other as a club.
Yeah, really quick. Yeah, you guys are hosting a couple different series off of this.
Yeah,
The para athlete.
Triathlon Championship too for the region. You know, to date, there have been very few people signed up for that, and it's really hard to reach out to the para triathletes. I was at a para triathlon big race a couple weeks ago, and it was just so phenomenal to see and to witness these great athletes competing so incredibly. I hope we can have that at Aurora, but right now we just don't have a lot signed up. But it is the Para Triathlon Championship for the Rocky Mountain region, along with that club championship.
Oh, so cool. All right, let's
Yeah.
go through transitions really quick. You as an expert, give some beginners out there one or two quick tips for all three transitions, for all two
Yeah, I
transitions.
think the biggest thing, you know, first of all, I'm sure Mike Ricci can add a lot more, but
Oh yeah.
you know, I think the biggest thing is to practice ahead of time. You know, getting in and out of your wetsuit is the big thing. You know, I'm sure everybody, especially beginners, will be wearing wetsuits. Getting out of your wetsuit comfortably, and then just being comfortable with that whole transition process, walking it through in your head, knowing exactly, you know, where you're going to put your helmet on race day. Don't just, you know, show up there and set up your transition area. You know, where do you put your helmet? Where do you put your sunglasses inside the helmet? How do you have your buckle open? You know, what type of fluids will you have on your bike? You know, we're going to have Gatorade Endurance out on the course, but if you're doing the sprint triathlon, quite frankly, I'd have one water bottle on my bike and I'd be set, so you don't have to worry about those aid stations. So I think how you set up your bike is really important. But I just like to be calm, cool, calm, and collected. You know, going into transition. A lot of people get all hyped up and they're going 100 miles an hour, and all of a sudden their adrenaline's going too strong, and they make mistakes. You know, they slip their shoe out, or they forget to grab their shoes. They run with their bike, they don't have shoes. You know, things like that. And then, you know, ahead of time, make a checklist of what you need to bring to the race. I just read recently about someone again who shows up at a race, doesn't have his running shoes. You know, people that happen, and
Oh
you just
man.
to bring things. So it's always good ahead of time, and there are lots of checklists online that you can look at. I believe USA Triathlon has a checklist, and if all else fails, ask Mike Ricci in D3 Multisport.
Awesome, and that's d3multisport.com.
Yeah,
Of course, if you guys want to reach out to Barry, he's everywhere. You can find him at
yeah,
5430sports.com, and of course through this site and what we're doing right now. The last thing I'd like to touch on, Barry, you're giving us a lot of information. You guys have partnered up with you've got some sponsors that are pretty amazing. Just go down the line and tell us who you're working with.
Yeah, yeah, we really do, and that draws from our experience in the past. I mentioned Gatorade Endurance, which will be out on the bike and run courses. Also, Power Bar, which is a tremendous partner of ours. Will have their energy gels out on the bike and run, and before the race, etc. We have Quintana Roo Bikes, who help support us a great deal. It's a phenomenal bike company. Fenice Swimwear, Fenice swim equipment will be very visible in the swim portion of the race. We'll have buoys, we'll have signage, etc. Great company, Fenice.com, and I think in our last newsletter we even had a 10 or 15% discount on any of their products. I don't have all the list in front of me. I apologize, but we've got Runner's Roost and Tribella there locally in the Denver area, which been long partners with Runner's Roost and John Schultz, and Retool will be involved, and just lots of great partners.
Well, yeah, and as an event producer myself,
Rudy Project. Can't
Rudy,
forget Craig and Rudy Project, because they just have the coolest glasses. They just have capsule. They've got I've got their sunglasses everywhere. I love them. And
that's awesome.
They'll be there, and we'll have some great gift certificates from Rudy Project. People walking away with Rudy Project sunglasses, helmets, etc.
No, that's so cool. And yeah, I mean, really is. It's an inaugural event, even though you kind of took over Rattlesnake and you've come from this world. But to have that much backing in the sponsor world with these big names is a testament to what you guys have done in the past. So people are going to really enjoy this experience.
I think so, Scott. Look forward to seeing you out there, man.
Oh yeah, I'll be out there.
And your whole team.
Yeah, exactly. I will. Just keep the buoys ready so I don't drown. We'll be good.
You got it. You can hang on. Right.
Awesome, Barry. I think this has been very informative. Anybody out there, it's YoloTry.com. Registrations are happening right now. We're starting to pick up big time. So there is a cap out there, and make sure you get your registration in before we cap out. And we're looking forward to this first inaugural version of the YOLO tryout in Aurora on August 17th.
Scott, thanks so much. We'll see you out in Aurora August 17th.
All right, thanks, buddy.
Bye.